Right then, hello team parents. You're not going to be able to see me in this video, hello, but I am here. To start of the session today, we just kind of set things up for the girls for the year ahead this morning. So I just wanted to quickly go through that with yourselves. I think it's always good to kind of keep you guys in the loop, what we talked about in terms of the year ahead really for Team Sussex girls. So really exciting, really good progress across the board. Karen had some data on the amount of improvement across the board from Team Sussex. I think it was something like 90 something shots added up handicap reduction, which is crazy. So well done to everyone in the team for their big improvements. And as I said to the girls, we want to be relentless. We just want to keep pushing, keep improving, just keep trying to be as good as we can be. So Team Sussex 2026. Showed the girls this slide last year. Again, I think it's important for them just to see what our selection framework is, both for being in the main squad and to be selected to play for matches for Sussex. So obviously, as we always said, our main measure of improvement is scoring average over handicap, especially away courses and bigger competitions. With some of the girls now lowering their handicaps, the door is open for them to play and start playing in a few national competitions, which is great. Want to see them using obviously Coach Now as and when requested, keeping their stats in. So some of them are going to start using a different stats platform this year. Some are going to stay on Coach Now. So depending on where the girls are at, they'll be doing different form of stats. But regardless of what they're doing, it should be matched with WHS. So as I said to them, if there's 20 rounds in WHS, for argument's sake, there should be 20 stats recorded on whatever platform it is that they're recording their stats on. And obviously looking at just their general attitude towards learning and improvement and being a good member of the squad. So yeah, that's that pretty much. And obviously, just in terms of handicap, as we always say, if we're looking at scoring average, we take out any general plays, and we would generally want to see that handicap not include general play scores, just so it is an accurate handicap. The most important thing with a handicap is that it's accurate. That's more important than what it is. So yeah, keeping them off the WHS, I'd say, is really important for their continued progress and improvement. And I said to them, there's 12 of them in the squad, and there's the academy just underneath them. There's 4 or 5, maybe even 6 girls in that, and they can be selected for matches too. So it is competitive, which is good because it keeps them all on their toes. We don't want them getting too comfortable. So with that being said, we said, if they're going to play for Sussex in the matches, especially match week, that needs to be earned. We can only take 9 girls to match week. So they've got to put in the work. They've got to keep progressing. They've got to buy into everything we're trying to do. As I say, doing the stats, engaging in the training, etc. And if they put the work in, no guarantees at all, but it will give them the best chance of getting where they want to get to. LC key theme, as always, this is from the Ryder Cup. One of the American players with his Vizio mat out, just being really good at the basics. The key thing here is it's not easy to be brilliant at the basics. Just because it's basic doesn't mean it's easy. It's actually really difficult to do the basics brilliantly well. But that's what we want to always be focusing on, the low-hanging fruit, doing the basic things like always using a training aid when putting, doing the basic things really well. So said to the girls, they're all got a level of talent, and they all do. They wouldn't be sat in this room without a level of talent, but if they really want to be the best they can be, talent alone isn't going to allow them to be the best they can be. They need to add in lots of hard work on top of that, which for me is just consistently committing to good behaviours over time. They always need to be honest with themselves and their ability about where they're at. They obviously always want to be improving and pushing on and be better than they are, but the way they do that is be honest with where they currently are. They need the support as well. Obviously, myself, Karen, their other coaches, you guys as their parents, etc. They've got the support that they need around them, and then a really good attitude. And for me, this is important to have a good attitude towards learning. As I said to the girls, it's about being a sponge, being open to taking on information, taking on feedback, etc., and being open to learning and improving, maybe getting uncomfortable at times to keep pushing forwards. So just a really good attitude towards learning and improving. And then some of the non-negotiables. So these are all controllables that I would say are non-negotiable for being a member of the squad, and to really, again, to push on to be the best we can be as a team and the best they can be as individual golfers. So as I already said, stats every qualifying round, WHS and whatever the stats platform they're using should match. Oops, why is that not working? Here we go. Coach Now. So again, they've all got the Coach Now spaces, so using that as and when they're requested to use it. So I would say for them to really push on, they want to be looking at 6 hours of quality. The key thing here is quality practice per week. So again, talk to them about that today. We're going to continue that throughout the year, looking at, it's not easy to practice, to have quality practice. It's easy to just throw down 50 balls and whack them on the driving range. It's tiring, it's mentally more hard work, it's messy, it's stressy, it's frustrating to do quality practice, but that's needed to really push on. So I'd say, trying to put a number on it, around about 6 hours per week. And that's, Karen said this morning, we understand that's difficult, especially when girls have exams and academics going on. But if they're if they are planning their weeks out, they're organised. That's going to give them the best chance of getting that practice in, and that can just include some at home. If it's just on the carpet, getting their putting mat out, some at home practice as well. And they've not got it yet. They will have it after doing their first round of individual sessions, their player development plan. So everything that's on there, what behaviours they need to commit to in order to keep progressing. So commitment to the behaviours that are on their player development plan. And then I would say, again, key thing here is really seeing the girls that do this consistently. I'm really seeing them push on and progress. So, I'd say a minimum of 3 times per week. That can just be 5 minutes on a putting mat 3 times a week at home. It's just the consistency of just doing it week in, week out, even if it's just at home and even if it's just swing work without even hitting a ball, just constantly reinforcing it. As I say, consistently over time, the girls that I'm seeing doing this week in, week out are the ones that are making the most progress. And then putting this number on it. So I said to the girls, let's say with outside of Sussex coaching, they'll have 4.5 hours of individual time within Sussex. And let's say this is based off saying, for example, they do 2 hours per month of coaching outside of the Sussex coaching with a different coach. Then that is a total of 25 hours of coaching they would get from now until August. And if they're then doing those 6 hours per week that I mentioned on the previous slide, that's 240 hours. So that means in a coaching session with a coach, that's just 10% of their time when they're working on their game. So said to the girls, it's really not about, the lessons. Ultimately, the getting better, the real improvement happens out of lesson time. The lessons are giving them knowledge, giving them ideas, drills to do, etc. But then they've got to go away, and it's the work they do that nobody sees that really makes the difference. So, as the girls know, I love a quote. I think this quote is really good, really powerful. Just reiterating again, it's the iceberg effect. You see, let's say, a good result in a tournament, you see success, but that's seeing the 10%. That's the 10% stuff. 90% of that is the bottom of the iceberg and the stuff we don't see. And that's what makes the difference, them being consistently committed, as I say, over time to those good behaviors. Again, we've always talked about this a lot before, but I think it's always good just to go over it, reiterate it, because of the world we're in and social media. Lots of things are portrayed as a linear path, but the reality is it's just not. It's a good thing that it's not. We need the downs. Again, I've heard it all before. We learn, develop skills here. And if we respond in the right way, develop skills, we'll have the ups after the downs, but they need to understand that, if they make big progress over the next year, that is what the journey is going to look like. Golf is an amazing sport, but it's brutal as well, and it will punch them in the face, and they want to be prepared for that. It is a rocky road to success. And again, the research shows us people that get to where they want to be and have real success have that journey. And this is just a reflection on last year, really. I had a lot of chats with a lot of the girls that I think, being in this squad environment, it's all too easy to get caught up on what others are doing. And it's difficult to not do this. Again, totally empathize. And I think looking at others can be good. It can be good for motivation. So, I want to beat you, I want to get past you. But they have to remember that it's all about them. And they have to remember what their scoring average is. And if they're looking, compared to somebody else, I'm not doing this good. But if you bring it back to yourself, they're actually not doing too bad at all. So I had lots of chats last year where girls getting a bit down on themselves, putting a lot of pressure on themselves and just kind of setting themselves up to fail. And when they come back to, okay, well, how are you doing relative to you? They've actually made pretty good progress. but too much comparisons with others. So I think they've always think that can be a good thing, as I say, but they've got to remember that ultimately they're competing against themselves. They're trying to be better than they were last year, and that who is the ultimate competition is with, the ultimate enemy is themselves. And just remembering that and always coming back to that, I think it's super, super, super important, because if they don't do that, they're just kind of, I'd say, putting too much pressure on themselves and they're setting themselves up to fail. So we're going to continue the Order of Merit. So the Order of Merit last year was won by Georgia and Fazza. We had two groups because we had a bigger spread of handicaps. This year, the handicaps are much closer. We don't have the spread of handicaps, so it's one group all competing together in the Order of Merit, and the top 5 in each Order of Merit game we do get points. So this is my maths error here. That should say 4 points, but first is 5 points, second is 4 points, etc. And that will go right through our training program, and we'll just have one winner this time instead of 2, because I say we just got one group at the end of our training. So I think that's really good. Basically using their competitiveness to help them, because obviously to learn and to improve, we want to stress things. If they've been trying to, let's say, learn a new technique, the way we transfer that to the golf course is to stress it. So making things an Order of Merit event adds a bit of stress, a bit of pressure, and it ultimately helps for them I'd say, transfer that, really ingrain things they're trying to work on. So it's basically for their benefit, the Order of Merit. So, yep, that will run, as I say, for the program. And then we've got on there, this is on there, everyone's PDP at the bottom, is just some performance games that we're going to be doing a lot in the training. As I said to the girls, definitely some of my own reflection in my coaching is I tend to jump around too much to different performance games, whereas actually we've just got a handful that are really, really good, and we know if we can get good at these, it's going to hopefully transfer to the course. It's good to have some that we're consistently doing in practice, and again, as I said before, measuring our improvement in them over time. So we've got the wedge bank game. The goal for that is to be getting 26 or more consistently. We've got chipping to easy chips, so again, brilliant basics, chipping to within 5 foot. So ultimately the stat is we'd keep it 6 foot, but as we said to them, we want to make it a bit harder in training so we can fall back to 6 foot in competition. So trying to get a score of 14 on that game. We've got 2 pace games, one for putting, one for short putts and one for longer putts. So again, I'm going to post this on the girls' WhatsApp group so they know how to set this up. So that would be 3 misses in the holding out one and 5 misses in the longer one would be the goals. And then another pace drill with putting, trying to get 20 in a row on that. I think ghost holes are absolutely brilliant. I think they're just the best thing to improve putting. So I said to them all, they don't cost the world. If it's possible for them to just get a pack of ghost holes, 2 or 3, I think it's really, really beneficial for putting practice to have ghost holes. I think they're so key. They help so much in pace control. So yeah, I think ghost holes, if they can get some ghost holes, would be great. And I'd say it's just consistently doing these over time and seeing if they can improve on their scores on these over time. If they make big progress in the scores on these games over time in the practice environment, it's certainly not making them any worse on the golf course. And then the final thing, on the training days, we just ask them that they turn up, they're a sponge, so they have that really good attitude towards learning, they work really hard, and they're honest with themselves. And if they do that, and they did that today, we are winning. And we have won the day. Oops, where's my win the day? There's my win the day. And like I say, this is just a small part, but if they're really engaged, they really listen, they'll take away hopefully things, drills, etc., things to work on in that 90% of the time to really push on and improve. So winning the day, every squad session, every individual session. And I think that is that. Yes, that is that. So that was just what we talked through with the girls, just to give you a run through. As I say, hello, I am here. Always good just to want to keep you guys in the loop. And as always, any questions, comments, feedback, please just get in touch with myself or Karen. And yeah, we're really excited. Like we said, really good progress last year. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep being relentless. Our best ever result from the last few years at Match Week. Let's just keep building on that, keep going, and let's see where we are in a year's time. Exciting. Yay, Team Sussex. All right. Thanks, parents.